Frank Ward's Weather Words is a production of The Reporter, Delaware County's leading newspaper. To subscribe or advertise, call 607-464-4009. This episode of Frank Ward's Weather Words is sponsored by Klinger Power Sports on West Street in Walton, your one-stop shop for outdoor recreational vehicles. Klinger services all recreational vehicles it sells. Stop in today to see how Klingers can help you enjoy the great outdoors in comfort and in style.
Hey, good morning, everybody. You know what? This fell last night. This time of year, I look at it and say, isn't that beautiful? A month from now, you'll probably hear me describe it as something else, but we'll wait and see what happens with that. Going back to Thanksgiving, if you did it all on Thursday, you lucked out. It was beautiful getting there. It was beautiful coming home. The only thing it was cold. Okay, cold we can deal with. And then the temperature started to drop. It turned into rain to start with on that nighttime into the morning, and then we had a very rapid change to snow. Okay, if you have a dirt driveway or you're on one of the dirt roads over in Franklin, because I visited somebody over there, those roads turned to ice because it froze that quickly. This ground is so saturated, it doesn't take much to build up a puddle. And then it changed so quickly that suddenly you have an icy road with snow on top of it. If you don't know where the icy spots were, you found out pretty quickly. Let me remind everybody, remember your winter driving skills. It's here, whether we like it or not, okay? Last night the plows came through twice. I heard them also. But anyway, the amount of rain we got that night and that snow gave us 0.42 of an inch. Believe it or not, that made us over for November. What I'm going to do the next time I talk to you is I'm going to summarize all the interesting things that happened in November and also tie in some of the things over the past summer, because this has been one strange year and I didn't want you to miss it. Since we just started this whole thing, you don't have any of those facts. I do. That's the one nice thing about doing it. My facts are local. But anyway, what we just had is called an Alberta Clipper. Okay, it's called Alberta Clipper because they form up over Alberta in Canada. And then the only moisture source they really have is as they come over the Great Lakes. Now, let's talk about that for a minute. The Great Lakes are above normal in temperature right now. Last year they didn't freeze either. And if you might remember last year, every time we turned around, more lake effect snow, more lake effect snow. Well, guess what? I think even more so this year. We'll talk about that in a minute also. However, it's cold, and it's going to stay that way. I like the Weather Service saying, oh, we're going to have a mild winter. And they said, oh, it's going to warm up by Friday. Well, let's turn Friday now into Thursday, because it's going to warm up Thursday. But warm up for us means we're going to get to 40. That's normal for us. That's not a warm up. That's like back to normal. And then it's going to drop right down below freezing again. We'll talk about that a little bit more on Thursday also, because what's going to happen is everything that falls at that time is going to turn to ice, because we're not even going to get to freezing for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll save that also. The Weather Service saying mild winter. Let me remind everybody that last year was a mild winter. That doesn't mean you're going to step outside and it's going to feel like Florida. It simply means you're going to step outside, instead of being 21, it's going to be 28. And guess what? That change in temperature lets the air hold more moisture. More moisture makes more snow. And for those that didn't keep track of it last year, because I wasn't actually talking to you guys, we had 133.6 inches of snow last year. Great for the snowmobilers, great for the skiers. You know what? If you haven't tuned up your snowmobile, I suggest you do it again. Go ahead and wax your skis. Make sure you have your roof rake and your snow shovel and your insulated boots also, because you know what? I think it's going to be another one of those winters. Those were the kind of winters I had when I first moved up here. There were always mounds of snow everywhere. And everyone paid no attention to it because there was always mounds of snow everywhere. Okay? Now, let's go back to the mild winter. There were 4 things, actually there were 3 last year that I did mention before we didn't do this anymore. One was woolly bear caterpillars, one was the top of the sumac trees, and let's go to the sumac trees first. Tons and tons of red fluffy things on top. First of all, don't cut them down. That's the food source for the robins that come back in the spring. After that, if you're sick of them, go ahead and chop them down. They come back anyway. I don't think you can kill them. They're just like impossible. But anyway, they are a food source, so leave them there for the birds. Okay. We have something different this time than we had last year. Tremendous outcrops of fruit on the fruit trees, a terrific berry crop, and lots of nuts on the nut trees. Unfortunately, we didn't get to harvest many of them because all it did was rain and a lot of them rotted. The fruit fell off the trees. I mean, it was disappointing, but a very heavy year for the trees. Old wives' tale. If that's what happened, you're going to get a lot of snow during the wintertime. Okay. Bushy tails on the squirrels? Yep. And they've been very busy picking up all those nuts and things all over the place. My brother has 4 walnut trees. You know what? The squirrels haven't relaxed. The tails are very bushy. They're actually kind of pretty. Okay, that's fine. But now something different about the woolly bears. When I lived downstate years ago, I didn't even know what a woolly bear was. They weren't downstate. Both my sisters called me this fall. One lives in Greenwich, Connecticut, the other in New Rochelle, New York. They said, I found this strange caterpillar on the windshield of my car. I said, well, what does it look like? Well, a little bit of black and most of it's brown. I said, that's a woolly bear. Describe it to me. Okay. Well, there's a little black on the back and a little black at the head. Black is cold. Okay, what are we looking at? Same as the Weather Service. A mild winter. Most of it's brown. Brown means precipitation. Okay. Same thing in New Rochelle. Now, believe it or not, all the woolly bears up here, no matter who talked to me, and I talked to people at the stone docks, I talked to people that stopped me at the parking lot of the supermarket. All the woolly bears are the same this year. So what that really means, if they're right, lots of precipitation. So I told my sisters downstate it's going to be a mix of mess down there, and it'll be snow and rain and ice. So what it means for me is like last winter. I've got my snow rake out. I got the snow shovels out yesterday. I'm ready for it, okay? They do say that all those folklore are based on actual facts that people observed up here for over 100 years. Last year they were right. We'll see if they're right again this year. We'll find out. Because you know what? I love the seasons. As long as it stays snow and my driveway doesn't become a glacier like some of you saw years past when we couldn't even stand on it, I'll take it. You can always shovel the snow. Ice is a different story. So just get ready for that. I'm going to talk to you guys again on Thursday because what I'm going to do is summarize everything and tell you what's coming for the weekend. Okay, I will tell you there's an Alberta Clipper coming for tomorrow. Never get worried about them. The storms are dry. There's not much moisture there at the Great Lakes, so you're never going to get more than 1 or 3 inches, and that's it. It's one of those annoying snows. But if you keep getting them over and over and over again, it builds up. We'll see what happens. And then I'll bring in some statistics about when we had our floods in the past, because that ties to the weather also. And well, I'll throw in interesting science facts every time you see me, because you know what? People loved it. Because if you're going to talk about the weather, be educated about it. And that's what we're going to do. So I will see you again and talk to you again on Thursday. Enjoy yourself each now and then and drive safely.
Shop Klinger Power Sports on West Street in Walton today.